Nick Danger.
But there's something
To
missing.
the heart of MV.
Freedom.
Like that channel on the way in, man.
See, treasure is put to use, absent constrained, to live, knowing each choice made is your own.
And leave it all in the comment section for me. Let's go.
The MV was very different in that respect because it really was a true full production studio. And I can't think of one other instrument made that you could do everything
from beginning to end to master.
CD burned, red book, qualified edition that you could deliver for distribution. You have piano rolls, you have everything else that you could possibly want in this thing. And one of the most attractive things about this, and I did a video about this, was a quantizing.
Another thing too that, you know, when we're talking about the quantize and everything, that really separated this from anything else out there was you could have it in record mode or just plain, and you could adjust the percentage of the quantize and everything all in real time. The Cosm effects that are built in on the MV, there's actually a lot of boss effects that are built into the Cosm effect.
Which is stuff that you found on the VS recorder. So
I plugged his guitar in, I showed him how you could do amp simulations and all these really cool things that you can find like a Boss MV50. It's got the RE201 tape effect built in. It's got the RE201 tape effect built in. It's got the RE201 tape effect built in.
Yo. Yo, we are back in the saddle on the MVs, and I got one simple message. When you get so far ahead of the game that things are having to catch up with you. So I was on somebody's stream like 2 years ago, and the whole thing was subscription based. They're talking about software, they're talking about what Akai should do, what Roland should do to compete with software and everything. And I said in this particular chat that Roland was basically gonna default to the cloud at some point, and they will probably have another DAW. So what made me say this? Well, one thing that made me say it was the fact that they used to have a controlling ownership of Cakewalk Sonar back when Sonar was dope. You know what I mean? Even some of the plugins were Roland sounds. Like their general MIDI was basically, the TTSs was basically all general MIDI Roland, right? And so I said that everybody's going to go there, but Roland is going to go there, and they have so much more to offer. So out comes the Roland Cloud, right? And the reason I understood that this is where this is going was because I had the Integra 7, and I experienced the Axial website and the use with the app. It was all right there, right? And then the Roland Cloud comes out, and then Zenology comes out, and then they bring out all this hardware that kind of in its own way connects to Zenology or connects to ZenBeats or the Roland Cloud in some way. So I've decided to work extensively inside of ZenBeats and the Roland Cloud for a couple of reasons that I'm gonna get out in a minute. But it all goes back to what I see now. It all reminds me. What made me think of this are the moves that Akai is making right now. Akai is making these moves to where their thing is more about their software. So take this stems thing that's going on right now, right? You got the stem separation thing, mind you, which is an old technology. As a matter of fact, Roland's Variphrase technology does this already, and did this probably about 10 years ago with the software called RMix. Anyway, we'll get into that as well too, but our mix was separating stems a long time ago. You had to isolate the sound you wanted to take out and then record the whole file as a 2-track wave file without the sound that you took out. Like, you take out the bass, then you record that version, that bassless version of the 2-track, and then so forth, right? But it's dope technology, and I'll show it off here. That thing right there, the stem separation and the plugins, Akai is more about the software now and less about the hardware. Now, we could easily say Roland is the same way. They're more about their proprietary Zen core sounds, and each piece of gear that you have will have some kind of connection to the software, right? Only natural. But they were already doing this before Akai started, so they would be kind of a little bit ahead of the curve, which is why the Roland cloud is so extensive. And I'm finding out now, even a basic copy of Zen Beats is very usable to do what you want to do, right? But all this fervor about stems and stem separation, it's just getting you more and more, giving you more and more easy buttons, right? Oh my God, I love this bass line from Marvin Gaye, so I'm going to just go through the song and just going to rip it off and do what I want with it, right? Just think if Jay Dilla had stem separation. I don't think it would have made him think as creatively as he wound up ultimately thinking. A lot of things that we don't know about our favorite artists are even their more secret sauces. Like the fact that Jay Dilla had a Fender Rhodes down there and would probably sample that or be playing that into the recorder without any sync, because Fenders don't have MIDI, so there was no sync up. So there was basically loose playing, you know what I mean? But this was a common practice. If you listen to Chris the Glove tell you about before automation, when guys would stand and each would mute their part on the mixing board when they were cued, right, to imitate automation. Then they went from that to the big board, and where most of those songs that we hear that sound like it's a sample or an interpolation of a sample is a band playing, and the drums are in the MIDI drum machine, the MPC or what have you, but the band is not. The band is just on the board. And so these are the other things and the other ways that the guys before us, or the more innovative guys, did things, right? And so being the limitations making way for more expansive or more unconventional ways of doing things is not anything new. So with this stem separation thing, it's just going to make people lazier, right? Now, a little bit less about that. We're going to cover that in a live. Let's let's get to what I want to show you, which is the fact that pattern mode on the MV8000 is basically the basis for clip-based production on the new MV. This kind of covers MV to MV, and why I don't see why people don't get that they're basically the same thing, right? Alright. So I got this sequence going, right? So we're going to, let's put this back up. Alright. So these numbers up here, 5, 1, let's rewind this back. Alright. So I'm going to fast forward this. This is the first bar, right? Step 1. First bar, this is step 1, 1, step 1, 2, step 1, 3, step 1, 4, and that red line is step 2, or bar 2, step 1, right? When you come over here, I'm going to hit the sequence mode, right? When you hit sequence mode, that's right there, this is right here, bar 1, step 1, bar 1, step 2, bar 1, step 3, bar 1, step 4, bar 2, step 1. It's the exact same layout as what we see here. So let's take this off. I'm gonna go through a sequence to show you guys what I've done. So the beautiful thing about the MV8000 is that you don't have to be in pattern mode to create pattern tracks. You basically make you a pattern track out of one of these. I've made the pattern track right where you see the marker at, right here. This is my pattern track, and you'll see right here there will be a white production line that comes in as an audio phrase track, basically. Now that's a change. This represents a clip from this marker right here, where this line is, all the way back, is a pattern on the MV1 verse lab. This would be considered a section. Section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, section 7, section 6, section 1, and so forth, right? And as you can see when I change these, okay, so as you can see, that particular step is only 1 bar, right? If I hit this step, it's 8 bars, right? This step is 4 bars, right? So let's go into pattern mode on the MV8000. So when you pull up the pattern list up here, you'll notice here's one section, 4 bars. This section is also 4 bars. This section also 4 bars. This section also 4 bars, as denoted right here. 4 bars, right? Now there's a section, as you can see up here, that's unrelated to the song, but it's 2 bars. So this is what you can do now. These are the pads, right? So we get pad banks up right here. Right? These are the patterns. Here are the corresponding pads. These. One. All these are the corresponding pads to these hits. Those are the same as these over here. They're just called sections over here, or clips. These are sections, and each part or track is a clip within the section, right? So as you can see, like I said, it just depends. You can make these clips within the song as much. Now if we go to song mode over here, it starts to take on a different meaning, right? So before we get into that, understand that what you're looking at on the MV is the pattern mode way to do things. When I switch back into linear recording, you just insert a pattern track. So this pattern comes in, it's 4 bars, another pattern, 4 bars, and then as you can see, I dip out, come back at another pattern. You know what I mean? And you can just record like that. And you can do it all the way until the end, until you're done, right? Towards the end of the song. No need for a loop or anything. This is the same thing that you're doing when you're over here, right? So let's take this pattern and this pattern, all right? Let's go to sections. Okay, hold on. Go to section. Go to section. So, right? What you do is the same thing. You take those sections, just like you lined them up here in the pattern mode, you go in song mode and line them up the same way. These squares are just like this white bar up here. It's the exact same concept, right? And like I told you, you talk about the cells, 43.1, 43.2, 43.3, 43.4, 44.1. You know what I mean? Only one bar, so it goes twice now. Boom. Whole another section. So I'm saying all this as to say it's all relevant. I don't think that they left out anything with the verse lab. They just made it a lot more easily, and they put it out there as part of their creative flow here on the bar, right? You have a whole section called workflow, which, like I said, I create that. That's creative flow for me, right? Finish it out. So that's just what I got to say about the similarities between this one and the one that's over here. This one right here. There are just too many overlapping similarities in the way you compose music. It's just that it's less visual on the MV1 Verse Lab than it is on the MV8000. And this will conclude the MV to MV for this week. I'm going to be doing videos like this to show the similarities between the two MVs and to show how you can use both of them in the same instance if you want to. More of that will be mostly showing how you can use your MV8000 as an external effects processor for all your gear, kind of how you see it on this video right here. So you guys know I've already converted to having some analog tube channel strips, much like the ones you see. But see that little box above them, the little black box? That black box is what the MV is doing for the Verse Lab and for the SP. Those black boxes, see that compressor, limiter, all those little dynamics processors basically is how the MV8000 is being used in the studio now. So everything comes through the MV. And right now, as you can see, let me see if I can put this up. This video coming out. Right. So basically, everything that you saw in that picture is also represented right here. Go to the box to edit anything. You'll see that this dynamics processor is equipped with a compressor, an enhancer, a damn good EQ, which I usually have this propped up to peak, and a noise suppressor. You know, a very good dynamics processor. That's no different than the rack that I just showed you a minute ago. Now, that's what this is acting these days. This is how I use the MV when I'm not using it to make beats. That thing is hitting the MV, out the MV converters, and into my mixing board, which has the inserts on there to add that analog warmth. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys, hope that put any to rest any things about this sequencer on this one right here being so much more different and it's different to operate. It's of course, you know, just pay attention and let your mind be free and stop asking everybody else how you make a beat to sound like you. Until next time, man. Peace.